This is Caring for Kids on News Talk 760 WJR. Presented by the Children's Foundation. And here's your host, President and CEO of the Children's Foundation, Larry Burns.
Thanks, Mark, and hello, everyone, and welcome to our July 2021 edition of Caring for Kids. On tonight's show, we have another great lineup. Joining us first will be Chuck Bullock. Chuck is a founder of the firm Stevenson & Bullock and a member of both the Children's Foundation and First Tee Greater Detroit Board of Directors. Doug North will join us. He's the 2021 chairman of the North American International Auto Show. And Kevin O'Neill, who's going to talk about a new partnership between our foundation and 3 Toledo, Ohio organizations. It's all coming up next on Caring for Kids, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
It's Caring for Kids with Larry Burns.
With me now is Chuck Bullock. Chuck Bullock is a founder of the firm Stevenson & Bullock and has been practicing law for over 20 years. Chuck is a member of the State Bar of Michigan and the Tennessee Bar Association. Chuck is a trustee of the Pewabic Society, the Michigan Opera Theater, and the Historical Society of the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. Chuck joined the Children's Foundation Board in 2017 and serves as a member of the Nominating and Governance Committee. Chuck is also an active board member of First Tee Greater Detroit. Chuck, welcome to Caring for Kids. Can you give our listeners an update on some of the exciting things going on this summer at the Children's Foundation?
I'm happy to do that, Larry. So our new grants that have just been announced recently, and we've awarded 57 grants totaling $1.67 million and supported 12 new community partners. So this brings our 2021 grant total to nearly $6 million, and our community partners to almost 130. The examples of our new grants are Wayne State University for research focused on the use of virtual reality and pediatric neurosurgery patient experiences. Kids on the Go for programming at several camps that address the health and fitness of children with special needs. Inclusively Fit, which is a program that will create individual workout plans for youth with disabilities, both at a fitness center and in their homes. And as a parent of a child with a disability, that excites me very much. ProMedica, in partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Toledo and First Tee Lake Erie, to support programming in a comprehensive youth leadership complex in Toledo. Those are some of our exciting new grants.
Well, that's great. I am very excited about the new partner, 12 new partners. As you mentioned now, 130 partners across the state and now in Ohio. And so I've been to, not all of them. There was a time when I could memorize all of our partners and tell people exactly what we're doing, but we have too many for me to do that. But I've certainly been to Inclusively Fit. It's in Macomb County. It's a CMU grad, by the way, who started that. And they work with some kids with very special challenges. And it's so rewarding to see them exercise and do the things that a kid should be able to do. And so that is a great new partnership. And then later on in this show, we're going to talk to Kevin O'Neill with the Boys and Girls Club in Toledo and talk about the very exciting project that they have with ProMedica as well as First Tee Lake Erie. And it's something our First Tee in Greater Detroit, as you well know, is one of the founding board members. You know, someday we want to have our own learning center, our own practice facility in the heart of Detroit. And this is exactly what they're doing in Toledo. And so it's going to be exciting to see that. And we'll be able to use that as well in the meantime. So we're up to $6 million. And with your leadership and the other trustees of the Children's Foundation, we like to say we're on the move. What else is going on this summer with the Children's Foundation?
Well, we're having quite a bit of fun at DGC. So the Paul W. Smith Golf Classic is taking place on August 2nd And it supports 4 charities: Detroit PAL, Variety Detroit, the Children's Center, and the Children's Foundation. And the Jamie Daniels Foundation continues to evolve as a leader in substance use disorder advocacy and support. So we've arranged funding for a new grant focused on prevention, recovery, and support for students struggling with substance use disorder at 3 colleges in Michigan: Central Michigan, Ferris State, and Mid-Michigan College. And funding has also continued to support a peer recovery specialist at Michigan State University to aid students in recovery. And of course, we've successfully launched First Tee Greater Detroit.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But you mentioned the Paul W. Smith Golf Classic. It's the 18th annual. Paul does a fabulous job securing the sponsors. It's a true partnership with the Children's Foundation and the other charities. I know already this year we have surpassed last year's amount of sponsorships, so this outing should be a record-breaking year for us, at least we hope so, and that all of those partners are also Children's Foundation partners, as you well know. So it's a great integrated event, and Paul leads the way every year. And you mentioned the Jamie Daniels Foundation. For several years now, we've been involved with Michigan State University and their student recovery program. Lisa and Ken Daniels have a real interest expanding that into other universities and colleges across Michigan and beyond. They'd like to do some things in Ontario as well, as both are Canadian, as you know. But CMU, Ferris State, Mid-Michigan College now is on our list of helping students recover from addiction. In my day, if a student had an issue with addiction, they left school, most of them never returned, and it was always kind of worrisome. But now universities are trying to help students recover, stay in school, and graduate. So our foundation, with your leadership, continues to do that with the Jamie Daniels Foundation as well. So you mentioned First Tee Greater Detroit. You've been instrumental in getting that launched back in the fall of this year with the Children's Foundation as one of the founding trustees. So tell our listeners about the programs we now have and how we're doing at First Tee Greater Detroit.
I'm happy to do that, Larry. We are now active in 6 locations, including new programs as at Chandler Park and Belle Isle. We have 63 coaches that are serving as mentors for our youth. And we're partnering with community organizations like Detroit PAL, Life Remodeled, and Build Up STEAM at Durfee, which is a wonderful campus. First Tee had a visible presence at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Yes, we were involved with a kids clinic, along with Midnight Golf, PAL, and other nonprofits. But we were also able to get Webb Simpson and Brendan Todd to hold a putting clinic for the First Tee kids as well. And the Children's Foundation was a recipient of a generous $100,000 gift from Phil and Amy Mickelson. This is very exciting.
Yeah, that was surprising. We got a call after Phil played with our trustee, Lauren James, from his advisor, financial advisor, saying that Amy and Phil were transferring $100,000 of unrestricted money to the Children's Foundation. That was wonderful news to hear. And I have to say, during that time with Phil Mickelson, he couldn't have been nicer, more engaged with the crowd, with us. And Tom Izzo was on our team, and he was fabulous as well. So all in all, First Tee and our other partners like Midnight Golf, Detroit PAL, had a great week with Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Mortgage Classic. So I know you were out there representing the foundation, and hopefully you had a good time.
Had an absolute blast, and I was excited to hear that Lauren James may have given Phil Mickelson a run for his money off of a couple of tees.
He did. It was, honest to goodness, most people aren't old enough to remember Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, but there was a great line in that movie that they looked at each other, the people in town, and said, "Who are those guys?" And that's exactly what Phil Mickelson said after Lauren James hit a drive about 325 yards. Who is he? He asked him where he played golf in college. And Lauren said, well, I played football at Arizona State, but not golf. So it was pretty funny.
Oh, that's great.
It was fun, too. So I know, speaking of golf, the First Tee Greater Detroit is partnering with the Ben Hogan Foundation from Fort Worth, Texas, on our own golf outing. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Of course. We're excited as this is our first community fundraising event. Rocket Mortgage is generously our presenting sponsor, and we're delighted to welcome new sponsors of First Tee Greater Detroit as well. Now, we do have some great opportunities, so if someone is interested, simply go to First Tee Greater Detroit. There's a plethora of information on how to sponsor the event.
Yeah, and thanks to you and your firm, we have about 75% of our trustees from First Tee committed, so we're trying to get to that 100% in the next few weeks. And then also trustees from the Children's Foundation are involved as well, so we're really, really excited about it. The Ben Hogan Foundation is a great foundation. They do things for First Tee in Tennessee as well as Texas, and they chose us as their next project. So we're delighted that they're coming to town. We're going to have a sponsorship reception on Sunday at Oakland Hills. So if anybody's out there that wants to be a sponsor, as you mentioned, there's still room. And then Monday at Detroit Golf Club is the event. It's a little different than many outings in the fact that it's not a scramble. It's a two-person best ball. And the reason is that Ben Hogan, anybody that knows anything about him, was a true golf legend, but also he followed golf to a T, and the foundation feels that a best ball tournament is a little bit more of what Ben Hogan would like to do versus a scramble. So everybody gets to play their ball, and it should be a great day for a great cause at First Tee Greater Detroit. So what else do you want people to know about the Children's Foundation, Chuck Bullock, or First Tee Greater Detroit?
I'd like for everyone to know that we're actively supporting our community, but we can always use more partners. I'd hope that by listening to Larry and following us, you know how committed we are to children in Greater Detroit and all of Michigan and down through Toledo. So I'm hoping that we can have this time to create a critical mass where we're not only supporting each other, but we're looking to actively support the foundation and First Tee, Larry.
Great. Well, thank you. With trustees like yourself, and our growing list of trustees, both at First Tee Greater Detroit and the Children's Foundation, our future, I think, is very, very bright, and it's because of people like yourself. So thank you, Chuck Bullock, for all you're doing. We ask you to do two things. That's be a member of the board of the Children's Foundation, which is a lot of work, and then we doubled that up and asked you to be a leader on First Tee Greater Detroit, and you raised your hand and said, I'm in. So thank you very much for all you're doing.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you, Chuck Bullock, for all you do. Thanks for being on Caring for Kids. I look forward to seeing you in person now that we're meeting in person again. And coming up next on Caring for Kids, I'm going to talk to Doug North, and we're going to talk about the Detroit Auto Dealers Association International Auto Show right here on WJR. So don't go away.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR, presented by the Children's Foundation.
Welcome back. Now joining me is Doug North. Doug is the 2021 North American International Auto Show Chairman and President of North Brothers Ford. Doug began his career in the car business working for North Brothers from a very young age, and upon graduating from the University of Utah, he returned to Michigan to continue his career in the car business. Doug has been at North Brothers since 1987 and has been president since 1994. Doug, welcome to Caring for Kids. Well, Doug, congratulations on being the chairman of the 2021 North American International Auto Show. A lot of great things happening and developing there. Can you give our listeners an overview of things to come?
Well, thank you, Larry. We're really excited about two events that we're hosting this summer. First is the Motor City Car Crawl, which is coming up on August 5th through the 8th. It's a 4-day outdoor event, which takes place in the downtown parks, all 6 of the downtown parks. And it is a You'll see cars and you'll see some entertainment and you'll see various different food opportunities. It's a wonderful walkable environment that allow people to get outside and see cars, maybe go to some of their favorite bars or restaurants downtown and walk comfortably in a great, safe environment. And then in September, we follow that up with Motor Bella, which is a fantastic new event that we've added to our summer. And that's an event out at M1, and it takes place from September 21st through September 26th. And that is really a dynamic and interactive type of event that takes place on the 87-acre M1 campus. And there's a 1.5-mile track, and you're going to see all sorts of moving and dynamic vehicles, electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, high-performance vehicles, off-road vehicles, and an opportunity to ride in all of those. So between those two events, we're really excited that the public will have 8 days to get involved in both downtown and in Pontiac at M1.
Oh, that's terrific. I think that the options that people are going to have with nice weather, with COVID hopefully and thankfully being a memory, we hope, what a great time to enjoy not only the city of Detroit, but also M1 in September. And I know that the Children's Foundation is so honored to be one of the charity recipients for the Sheryl Crow concert, and I'm very excited. She's a Hall of Famer, and so can you tell our listeners a little bit about that event in itself and how it's going to support your charities?
I'd be glad to. We have a charity gala the evening of August 7th. It will be downtown, and it's taking place at Campus Martius. It is a ticketed event, and the tickets are $250 and are available at naias.com. And that event really is our effort at trying to continue our tradition with our charity preview that we had held previously at the North American International Auto Show. And our hope is that we can sell hundreds, if not into the thousands of tickets, and have a great event down there with Sheryl Crow and allow us to generate a great deal of dollars for really those 9 charities that our charity preview has supported in the past. So we're really hopeful and optimistic that people will come out and want to be outside for the evening. And it is a walkable environment. And while Campus Martius will have a secured location for those people that buy tickets, there will also be areas, in the immediate area that if people were down there looking at some of the vehicles in the other parks and they wandered down the street, I'm sure they're going to get hear a good amount of that show, or certainly be able to probably watch it a little bit from afar. So it really will be a great evening. It'll be fun for everyone to gather. It'll be a much more casual sort of attire event, sort of summer casual and chic. And it'll be a great cause, allowing us to help support those charities, which we're really committed to.
Well, we appreciate it very much. And we're talking with Doug North, who is the North American International Auto Show chairman this year and also president of North Brothers Ford. And we're doing our best to make sure that we sell as many tickets as possible. We are putting it out on social media. I know the other charities are as well. And so I think it'll be a great success. And so looking forward to that very much. And so any other details about the auto show, the events that you want to make sure people are aware of before we talk about some other things?
Well, I think that one thing I would add is just that as a reminder, these are all outdoor events. So they're going to be conducted, obviously, in a very safe and comfortable environment. They're ideal for families to bring kids because the weather is good. They're walkable downtown, and then M1 is the same. And they're going to see things that we've not been able to show before, sort of in an indoor environment. And it really brings in some of the downtown dining and entertainment opportunities that maybe people have been missing the last year and a half. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that holding these events in nice weather, as you mentioned, allows people to enjoy the riverfront, enjoy downtown, the great restaurants, the parks. So I think it's a home run all around. So congratulations on sort of reinventing things and adjusting based upon some challenging times that we've all faced. And so talking a little bit about the car industry, many things going on this summer with the car industry. And any developments that you find very exciting that might come out in the next year or so in your business?
Well, certainly, I can speak specifically, I guess, about Ford, but as you know, we've all been challenged with some inventory shortages as a result of this chip problem that has plagued not only our industry but many others. Although we're working through that, and some of the new product that's so darn exciting for us in the Ford world. Obviously, we've got our all electric Mach-E Mustang, and we've got our new Bronco, which is just now starting, the full size, just starting to hit the dealerships, and then we've got a new hybrid Maverick pickup coming, and we've got the new Lightning all electric pickup, and we've got the F-150 hybrid. So really a lot of really new technology that is, I think, really a huge leap from where we previously were. And I think it's really exciting. I think the consumers are really going to love seeing them and driving them and understanding sort of the dynamics of some of this new type of transportation with these new and very sophisticated powertrains. So we're really excited about the product, and the demand. People are still are in need of cars, and the used car business has really been robust. So we're really excited about that and about the potential for what's coming. We just kind of got to work through the rest of this sort of chip shortage and some of the supplier things that are plaguing a lot of different industries. And I think we'll get through that, in reasonable time, and things are really going to be good. So we're excited about what's coming in our business, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited as well as a consumer, and I love watching the Bronco commercials, and I know how popular that is. I have some friends that have ordered them and can't wait to get their hands on their new Bronco. So there's a nice buzz going on about that vehicle.
Indeed, and I'm one of them.
Right. And it all fits into the auto show and the opportunity for people to get downtown and to M1 to see these vehicles, to learn more about them. The technology that is driving the automotive industry now is so very, very exciting to see. So it all sort of comes together during these two shows, as well as the new products that you mentioned. So appreciate it very much. And before we let you go, how can people find out more about the Motor City Crawl, that website again, if you don't mind?
Sure. The Motor City Car Crawl, it is NAIAS.com/MC3-tickets.
Great. And we'll do our part to get that word out, put that on our website at Caring for Kids and the Children's Foundation. And appreciate it very much for all you're doing, Doug North, and look forward to seeing you at not only in August, but in September as well at these great events.
That sounds great. Thanks so much for the opportunity, and we look forward to seeing everyone there.
Okay, thanks. That was Doug North, who is chairman of the 2021 North American International Auto Show. And coming up next, we're going to hear from Kevin O'Neill about a great new partnership in Toledo, Ohio, when Caring for Kids continues. Here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760, WJR.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR. Presented by the Children's Foundation. Once again, here's Larry Burns.
With me now is Kevin O'Neill. Kevin is the Director of Sales and Development, Metal Solutions at Orbis Corporation. Kevin has been a board member of the Boys and Girls Clubs Toledo for over 25 years and is the past president of the Boys and Girls Club as well. Kevin is also a member of Growing Futures Advisory Group, a partnership of First Tee and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Toledo. Well, Kevin, thanks for joining us for Caring for Kids, July edition. I know this is a big summer for Toledo, Ohio, and Inverness, with the Solheim Cup coming at Inverness, and the opening of the First Tee Boys and Girls Club facility. So give us an inside view to start with on the stuff going on with Solheim. And so I know you're involved with Inverness as a board member. So give our listeners sort of a bird's eye view of what's going to happen in early September.
Well, sure, Larry. And thank you very much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. As some of your listeners might know, the Solheim Cup is the largest international event in women's golf. And it's It's a really big deal for the Inverness Club, and it's a very big deal for the city of Toledo. Plans have obviously been in the works for several years. Right now, they are building the infrastructure out at Inverness Club. There are, bleachers and hospitality tents all over the course, and all of the Solheim folks are starting to take their place on the grounds. So the tournament itself will run from August 31st through September 5th, with the actual competition being from September 3rd to September 5th, with September 5th being Labor Day. In terms of the city of Toledo, it is probably about a $30 to $35 million impact to the city of Toledo. We expect people to come in from all over the U.S. and obviously multiple foreign countries and be there for the week. It is the goal of the event to have 150,000 people through the gates of Inverness through the week.
How does that compare, just if you can guess, to like a PGA event held? Is that a similar type of crowd or no?
That's a similar type of crowd to more of, like, I would say, the major events, and probably a little bit larger than your normal PGA Tour stops, except for maybe a couple of the big ones. Gotcha.
So we're talking with Kevin O'Neill about a lot of things going on in Toledo, Ohio. We're going to get to the partnership with the Children's Foundation in a minute, but I was in Toledo, maybe a month ago, visiting Randy Ostra from ProMedica, and downtown Toledo was like one big construction site. And he indicated that it was really getting ready for the Solheim guests from all over the world. And so it's not only an Inverness event, but it really is a Toledo event as well.
Yeah, and it's important to point out that this will be a first time for the Solheim Cup. All of the opening festivities for the start of the Solheim Cup will take place in downtown Toledo in Promenade Park, right there on the Maumee River. And with Thursday, September 2nd, with Gwen Stefani as the musical act for the opening ceremonies.
Didn't she just get married?
I think she might have just got married to Blake Shelton. Yeah.
Right. I was not invited, but I heard about it.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. Toledo was my home, as you know, as one of my dear friends. Toledo was my home, Judy and I, for 26 years. So I'm very happy for what's going on there and very proud to call Toledo my former hometown. So.
Well, we miss you. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Not everybody misses me, but thank you. So maybe even a longer impact, maybe not as financial of an impact, but a project that you have been working on with some other community leaders over the last few years, which really is an exciting thing to talk about. And it's this innovative project with First Tee Lake Erie, with ProMedica, I mentioned Randy Ostra, and the Boys and Girls Club. You're former president of Boys and Girls Club. You've been on that board for 25 years. So tell our listeners about that project and sort of how it all came together.
Sure, I would be happy to, because it's a project that is very near and dear to my heart. I would say the beginnings of this project probably started about 5 or 6 years ago, when the First Tee of Lake Erie started brainstorming about if they could have their own facility, as opposed to moving around to different courses and practice ranges all throughout Toledo and Northwest Ohio. And ultimately, what ended up happening was a partnership with the First Tee of Lake Erie, the Inverness Club, ProMedica, which I think most people know is the hospital organization in Toledo, and then the Boys and Girls Clubs. And so the First Tee had this vision of building this facility on property that Inverness owned on the back of the current Inverness property. But they really needed a partner to occupy a building and offer additional programming. And that's where the Boys and Girls Clubs of Toledo came into play. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Toledo currently is in 4 of the 5 Toledo public school districts. And with this new location in what's called the Rogers-McTighe district, this will now allow the Boys and Girls Clubs of Toledo to be in all 5 Toledo public school districts and service probably an additional 1,800 kids in the community. So we will have, the programming outside with the First Tee, the programming inside with the Boys and Girls Club, all being supported by Inverness and ProMedica.
Well, that is so sort of unique in the sense of nonprofits coming together with a large health system. as many of our listeners know, that, ProMedica is the dominant health system in Northwest Ohio and even beyond in Michigan. And so they really are playing a key role in this. And how have you orchestrated, Kevin O'Neill, the fundraising for this? Because I ask in a very selfish manner is that, as you know, the Children's Foundation now is, in essence, the parent of First Tee Greater Detroit. And we need a facility someday. We need to do what you did. And you did it together. So how did the fundraising happen? And has it worked?
Well, yes, it's worked because the grand opening is scheduled for September 1st. So it has definitely worked. The fundraising started out with, First Tee of Lake Erie and kind of a couple lead gifts. And then when the Boys and Girls Club came into the project, we started a campaign called Growing Futures Together. And obviously the together was the First Tee and Boys and Girls Clubs. And the two organizations and respective resource development departments, along with ProMedica's foundation, who provided invaluable support, Christy Ansberg in particular. And so the three organizations started this Growing Futures Together campaign. And over the course of probably about a 2 to 3 year period, raised the money for the building, for the outside golf operations, and also as part of the campaign was building in 3 years of operational support so that both organizations could get up and running smoothly at the facility. And we have recently reached that goal.
Yeah, well, congratulations. And I have to tell you, that is so innovative. And as you know, because you know me well, that's what we're trying to do at the Children's Foundation is bring organizations together and do more with more. And so it is a great model for not only us to follow, but for other First Tee organizations across the country to follow as well. And so inside the facility, I know there'll be Boys and Girls Club activities, First Tee activities, and then you mentioned a golf facility. Can you explain to us what that will be like eventually when it's all done?
Sure. So for the inside of the building, the Boys and Girls Club will occupy and utilize the majority of the inside of the building, and we'll run a typical Boys and Girls Club programming, everything from after school power hour programs, educational rooms, technology room, arts and crafts, a teen room, gymnasium, and we will run a traditional Boys and Girls Club out of the building. The outside facility, which First Tee will run the majority of their programming outside, currently has about a 270-yard driving range, has an 18-hole putting course, and has what's called an up and down course, which is basically a chipping facility that the kids could use and play to a bunch of different greens. That's kind of phase one. And then phase two, a couple years down the road, will be about an additional 6-hole golf course that will be fuller golf holes.
Wow. Yeah, that's something else. So
yeah,
we thought so much of it at the Children's Foundation that we recently made a grant to be part of it. And we also asked the First Tee folks that could our kids, if we provide transportation, can come down and experience that. And so that's part of our grant arrangement. So we're delighted to be part of that. And we hope someday we might even have our own. So again, I congratulate you and your colleagues at ProMedica and First Tee, Boys and Girls Club. And I was on the Boys and Girls Club board for a long time, as you know, and it is, I think, the premier nonprofit organization in Toledo. And so with your leadership, they've done so many great things. So congratulations.
Well, that's nice of you to say. And, we'd like to obviously thank the Children's Foundation of Detroit for your support and the partnership that was going to be available, the next couple of years as the First Tee of Detroit, kind of gets up and running on their own as well.
Yeah, so that's the plan. So before I let you go, what else do you see in the future for Inverness? In the news this week, there's a lot of stories about Oakland Hills, and they've opened up their South course again after it's been renovated, and they want a U.S. Open. So what is Inverness looking for in the future after this year's exciting event?
Well, we'll probably need a couple-year break because it is a lot of work. And as you know, they being the USGA or the PGA, they award tournaments years and years in advance. We have long-standing relationships with both the PGA of America as well as the USGA. In Inverness's mission statement, which I can't really recite right now, but in our mission statement, it talks about, wanting and hosting major championships. And suffice it to say, down the road, we would love to continue to host events like the Solheim Cup and major championships.
Yeah, well, no doubt that'll happen, in my opinion. And I was fortunate enough to be there for a number of major championships, and how exciting it is and what it means to the community. So Kevin O'Neill, thank you for all you're doing at the Boys and Girls Club, at First Tee, and at Inverness, and I look forward to seeing you in the very near future. You're coming down to our First Tee Greater Detroit Golf Outing on August 9th at Detroit Golf Club, so I'll see you then, if not before then.
I'm looking forward to. Thank you very much for the time, and for all of your Detroit listeners, there still are volunteer opportunities for the Solheim Cup. And in terms of ticket sales, SolheimCupUSA.com.
All right, we'll put it on our website. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Larry. Have a great day.
Yep. Coming up next, I'll provide an update on some foundation news right here on WJR. So don't go anywhere. Well, thank you for joining us tonight on Caring for Kids. July is certainly a busy month for the Children's Foundation, and August is going to be a busy month as well. On August 2nd, the 2021 Paul W. Smith Golf Classic will be held at the Detroit Golf Club. This event raises important funding that supports 4 local charities: Detroit PAL, Variety Detroit, the Children's Center, and our very own Children's Foundation. For more information, visit www.paulwsmithgolf.com. Then, coming up on August 9th, is the inaugural Ben Hogan Championship of Michigan, presented by Rocket Mortgage. This new event will be held also at the Detroit Golf Club and benefits First Tee Greater Detroit. For more information, visit firstteegreaterdetroit.org. If you can't join us for the golf outing, you can still bid on some of the amazing auction items and simply go to firstteegreaterdetroit.org and you'll see the great auction items. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the foundation is honored to be one of the 9 charity beneficiaries of the new Motor City Car Crawl. Join us on August 7th as 9-time Grammy Award winner Sheryl Crow headlines the gala taking place right in downtown Detroit at Campus Martius. Get your tickets today at www.yourchildrensfoundation.org/MC. It'll be a great night, a great concert, a great cause. We appreciate your support. And I also appreciate you joining us tonight on Caring for Kids and for your continued support. Have a great summer. We'll see you next month. Onward.
Caring for Kids with Larry Burns on WJR has been presented by the Children's Foundation.